Hello, this is our new episode for Startup Greece SG Talks, and today with me I have Thodoris Sofianos, co-founder of Digital Bytes.
Hi, Fedra. It's very nice to be here.
Hello, dear. It's a great pleasure having you here. We have talked several times and we know each other from Thessaloniki. So why don't you tell me a little bit about you, where you are currently, where in Greece you are and what you're doing?
Yes, sure. So, as you said, I'm from Thessaloniki. I'm residing here at the moment. In the past, I used to live in the Netherlands as well, as part of my master's. My background is in food science, and for my master's, I focus more on food systems and entrepreneurship and bringing innovations and making that possible, I guess.
Yeah.
And at the moment, and I mean, for the past few years, but at the moment, I'm also active in the startup ecosystem in Greece. Well, probably that's why I'm here as well.
Great. Okay, so you said you were doing your master's in the Netherlands, and I'm an extremely curious being, so I'm asking, what did you study exactly? You said it was food science, but what was your master's on?
So yes, let's say the official title in the master's was Development and Rural Innovation.
Great.
So it goes more close to agricultural economics, I guess, with an emphasis on entrepreneurship, at least for what specialization I picked. And my food science background is actually my bachelor's from Wageningen University Agricultural School. So yeah.
Great, thank you. Okay, so you're the co-founder of Digital Bytes, and I assume that we have also another person there. And what is their names so that we can?
Yes, sure. So my two co-founders are Michalis Georgis. He's a mechanical engineer, also from Thessaloniki University.
Great.
And Lukas Kakalis, he's an electrical engineer and also from Aristotle University. So, Aristotle University works for us, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you're a team from the old days, I assume. Okay, so Digital Bytes. It's a very catchy name, and I love it. I loved it since the first moment. And can you please let me know, what is it about? What are you doing, guys?
Yes, sure. Okay, so let's say that as part of my of me working in the food industry after I graduated, my role was to kind of understand what consumers want, right? Well, it's a billion-dollar question for almost all food companies, and I've been working as a researcher in this position for a few years. And there, I got to observe that about 90% of new food products, NPDs, as they call it, actually fail. And this is regardless of the efforts of people like me to kind of understand what consumers really want. And apparently, doing my research, I found out that the available technologies and methodologies for understanding this are not appropriate for the type of research you want to conduct in food. So you cannot really understand consumer motivations and habits, or the tools are very slow to, let's say, conduct the research you want, or impossible to scale. Or in several cases, you might do your research well, but then your product cycle from idea to launch is about 2 years, which means that consumer trends can change in the meantime, or you can be second at best in the market, so people do it before you, and then you lose the opportunity. So this was overall problem that I identified, and then I reached to my friends Michalis and Lukas, who I actually got to know from the Greek army, which is also kind of funny.
Okay. That's a coincidence.
Yeah, exactly. So we're serving in the same unit during the pandemic. And making the most out of it, I guess. We founded a startup in the end. So
so you started founding Digital Vibes when exactly, so that I understand the timeline?
Sure. Yeah. So well, we officially launched as a company 2022 August, but we had been working for about like 6 months prior to that as a team, initially in different idea, but now we're working in our final idea, which is what Digital Bytes currently does for the past year, I'd say. So yeah, what we do essentially, because I described kind of the problem that we experience in the market, that we saw in the market. So what we do essentially is that we help food companies optimize these product launches through a research platform. This platform can actually help researchers design and implement very fast and easy behavioral research studies that are all inside virtual reality. So you can imagine, let's say, a supermarket aisle, the one that you visit to get your groceries, but digital, so within like software within that you can access through a VR headset. And in that, you can interact with products that are rendered, that are part of an experiment. And then when we bring the target audience of a company, let's say, that wants to test its products or its hypothetical products or its prototypes, we can actually measure their behavior and get back to them with ideas about what they can improve, whether a concept makes sense or not.
Great. That sounds quite interesting, considering that technology has been escalating extremely fast. You have, let's say, followed this wave in a manner that's very productive, and it gives you many insights in the market, of course. So I understand the whole concept and also the problem that the company solves. And are you currently making money? Have you started having clients? And if you make money, how do you make money?
Yeah, great question, right? So the most important one. So we started working in this direction, I believe, January 2023, after we pivoted from a previous idea. Since then, we did our pilot, our prototype that we tested in many people. We'll go to improve the UX and all, and we launched our MVP on April 23. Since then, we finalized a pilot study with a couple of companies, multinationals that are active in the food industry. And actually, since June 23, so about a month ago, we launched. So far, we have not made any money yet, but we're actually in talks with several companies about partnering up and providing our solution to them. So I guess this podcast hopefully brings luck onwards.
Yes, of course. And I wish you great luck with that. And the question is this. Okay, so this is a service that it should be extremely tailored at first place, because every company has their own needs, and you need to let's say focus on a very specific industry every time. So it's not that you only focus in one industry, if I understand correctly. It's about different kinds of products, correct? It could be literally anything, right?
Yes, at the moment, I mean, we're focusing the food industry, but then no specific category within it. So it could be beverages, snacks, like anything. Which, as you mentioned, right, like it means that we have to kind of customize what we do. The cool thing is that what we've done is we've created like the entire software, the entire system as a template in which you can simply add different products and then test the behavior of users in the same, let's say, way, because the same algorithms do the data collection, the same algorithms give you the insights. So it is not as customized in the execution, but it's customized to how you approach these customers, I'd say. And like our goal was to keep it customized for the first, and is to keep it customized for the first 10 customers, so that we can work closely with them and help and kind of understand their needs beyond this research, and kind of co-develop a platform that can essentially automate all parts of the process. So designing and implementing the experiment, and also having your insights available in a platform altogether.
Great. And so if I understand correctly, the way you create revenue is that they hire you as external partners. How does the model work?
Great. So actually, it depends. We've had requests to run a full, let's say, study from start to finish. So designing the experiment in principle, like on paper, let's say, about how and about what you want to get out of as a research insight, all the way to the analysis and reporting of it. Or we have been asked, for example, by several agencies to kind of provide them with the software so that they can run the study using their own personnel and expertise, and then collaborate a bit in the data analysis. So it actually can work both ways, and we're kind of flexible at this point because we're still trying to understand how we can create value for different stakeholders in the food chain.
Yeah. Okay, I see. I understand. So you're currently 3 people working on that, right? There's no. I assume that you're planning to hire some people at some point, but now you're these 3 people, right?
Actually, we have Vasilis Liras. He's a designer and virtual reality developer, and he's helping us out with some aspects of the project.
Great, perfect. Okay, so I understand that your business model is B2B, of course, and so this business model scalable? Have you thought of things, strategic partnerships, things that could help you grow faster?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, we believe it's scalable because actually we've created a really accurate, deliberate, let's say, detailed roadmap for us that we want to automate several parts of the process. So kind of, let's say, create a pool of people that we can send the experiments to, and then don't have to recruit, or create a platform after that in which you can design the experiments automatically. So we would not have to do the, let's say, custom part at all. It would all be generated automatically.
Great.
And then what we figured out after, let's say, discussing with potential clients and providing some offers for them is that for most companies, especially the larger ones, so large enterprises, which is also more our kind of target market, I would say.
Yeah.
They want to actually invest in one technology and then keep using it again and again, because for them it requires some training, of course, some internal reporting, and they want if this works for them, they want to keep using it and reusing it for all of their products and all of their brands.
Yes, makes perfect sense. Okay, so I understand what the product is, and I also understand that, as you told me, you're focusing on bigger, let's say, companies, which are mainly in the food industry. And I assume that, I'm not assuming, I'm asking, are you thinking of also expanding in other industries as time goes by? And as I've asked that, do you feel that you have found your product market fit, or are you still open to searching for it? And
yes, well, if I say that we have found product market fit pre-revenue, I think most people in the startup industry would crucify me.
Yes, of course, yeah. The question was mostly
I get it. I'm just joking.
Have you considered of the good product market fit?
Yes.
Sorry for the flex, but the heat is inconceivable. I think I'm gonna melt in front of my laptop. But yeah, please proceed.
Okay, sure. So, well, essentially, we figured out we have kind of the domain expertise in the food industry. So we're kind of comfortable entering this market first because of our connections, and the people we know there,
and you're
the
confident.
companies we know there. Yes, and also we really understand the problem for this industry very much, and we think that it is a great first use case for VR behavioral research, let's say, and a platform to do these experiments. Nevertheless, obviously there are more industries and more applications than that. You could have it, for example, for any physical product or physical object or even building that you want to test before you design. That at the moment is also done, for example, through 3D printing and stuff, which again is not as fast, or the type of research you can do is limited by our physical world. So we remove that barrier for them. And eventually you could even have like metaverse and open worlds in which you can purchase products, and then, well, we have no reason to believe that let's say your behavior in the real world is that much different from the metaverse world. So we could kind of measure the same with the same algorithm, but then just analyze the data kind of different, so that we can predict your behavior in a metaverse world or an open world or a gaming environment or something, and provide product insights for digital products in there.
Great. Yeah, that actually sounds pretty sci-fi, but doesn't it all these days?
Yes. Well, we live in times
doesn't it all? Don't they all? Yeah.
Yeah. The times like kind of ask for it with AI, kind of on the boom. Apple announcing the new AR, XR headset of it. So it's kind of cool things are going to happen.
Good things are going to happen, yeah, especially for your service. I believe it's part of how research surveys are going to start being implemented. So okay. So what happens when the survey or the study or the research that you do provides some results, and it has, until now, I assume that you have some case studies. So have you had a net positive outcome for the company that you worked with, and how did they approach it? What the feedback that you have received?
Yes. As mentioned, we've done some pilot projects, and for these projects, actually, they turned out very well. We believe that we created immense value for a company. For example, one company wanted to change their packaging design of an active product that is doing fairly well in the market, but they wanted kind of to move to a market-leading position other than a second or third position, let's say. And they were not sure about how attractive their new concept, their new design was. And what we did is we put it against the current one within a VR experiment, but also against competitors. And then we kind of measured the expected attraction, and we got feedback from the target audience of this company. And even target audience of this, let's say, category, to be precise, not because the people who brought in were not only consumers of this brand, let's say, but in general of the category. And what ended up happening is that we figured out that the new packaging design that they were suggesting was actually far more attractive than the current one. And it got, let's say, the users much more excited, and their conversion ratio from kind of interacting with the product or looking at the product and let's say showing intention to purchase it was much better than the current one. Yeah, and actually the new product is going to launch in September in the market as well. So the company that we partnered with actually made the decision based on trusting us and based on the data we provided them with. So we believe we created a lot of value for them.
Yes, of course. And just to break it down in a manageable way for our audience, it's very important to understand the actual problem that you're solving, which, if I understood correctly, is that when they launched a product, they were not sure of whether the new version of it would be as attractive or even more, hopefully, for the customers. And they could not afford, my hand is just leaving the screen. So I'm gonna start moving it. So I was saying that they could not afford to just put it out there and do the trial and error situation and then bring it back. So technically what you're doing with them is that you are saving the time and effort and resources and talent and everything by using a virtual reality space where users can, without any bias, check the products and genuinely pick the one that seems more attractive. Thus, you're saving them tons of resources in the end of the day.
Exactly.
And the profitable outcome, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one of the two key selling points, let's say, of the technology. So you get much more efficient in terms of time to, let's say, from idea to market, resources used. You don't have to, for example, print anything, any packaging, or develop any product in the lab.
Exactly.
So you become much more agile, and you bring consumer feedback from the very first moment. And then secondly, actually, current methodologies are really tough to integrate behavioral or unconscious data about user behavior that we can do fairly easy. Because, for example, what we do is we triangulate data from many different sources, them being interview data, behavioral data. We can even do neuromarketing studies within VR, so kind of understanding for example, the heartbeats of users or their general sentiment. So the more data sources you have, you can actually say more about both the conscious and subconscious motives of users. So things they know and things they don't know that they think of, and be much more confident and let's say be launched in a much less risky way.
Yes,
So
of course. Yeah, great. Thank you for the insights. So it seems to me that this is still it is a market that is it's big, but I don't know about any estimates or numbers, and I would love if you could share.
Yes, so based on our research, there are about 10,000 companies in the food industry only that are kind of suitable for our pricing and our range, and let's say it makes sense for them, to put correctly, to conduct this type of study. So they're large enough for it to matter, and that you can afford it.
Large. When we say large, what's the head count? What's the any ideas?
Well. Yeah, I'd say it relates more to, let's say, whether they provide budget to R&D to do this type of research. I'd say so. It can be a small company like a startup, but one that has funding, let's say. But so they invest some money to de-risk their launches, which is kind of wise for them, because as a startup, we can only in the food industry you can only launch like one time, maybe two times without failing. If it goes wrong. And for larger and middle and large companies, obviously they have market, they have people, they have the money, and they invest in this kind of software technologies, or they partner with research agencies. And I'd say it's about 10,000 companies that design more than 3-4 products per year, so it makes sense for them and for us as well to kind of train the people there about the process. And the output from calculations we've done, like this company spent about 4 billion per year in product research, and consumer research
in total.
But still but still end up only having 90% of their products succeeding. That's the weird thing.
So they paid for the solution, but they didn't really get the results they wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And do you have any projections about how this market will be within the next years?
Yes. Well, it's definitely growing because there are many startups out there that aim to kind of solve this problem, starting from different, providing different solutions than us to some extent, or to a great extent, let's say. And definitely, food companies are becoming much more informed and try to search about ways to recreate themselves. Even like, for example, we've seen the plant-based industry booming, and this forced many changes in the animal-based industry, let's say, so milk or the meat industry. And these companies really invested in ways to try to find how they can become much more close to their target audience that was living them. And I think they've done so to a certain degree well, because the plant-based is not going that well at the moment, or not all of it. So it's growing. Like it's about like 10. I think it was 11% yearly growth or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. That's promising. That sounds promising. And and as we discussed with the whole technology development growth, it's going to start attracting more and more companies, as I see it. So, quick question: that are you bootstrapping? Do you currently have any funding? Just because I don't really remember from our last talk.
No worries. Yes, at the moment we're bootstrapping. Actually, we're mainly using funds from competitions, grants, like these type of things. And we've done like all we did. Like we designed our solution with bootstrapping only. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so until now you haven't had revenue, but you have a case study that's going to also be out there in September, and you recently launched. So yeah, so since that has happened, I'd like to know, where do you see this within the next years? How do you see it growing even more?
Yes. We definitely enjoy having some, let's say, maybe some angel investors at this stage helping us out.
Yeah.
That are people with deep domain expertise in the food or VR industry.
Yeah.
And in order for us to be able to kind of automate certain functions and build a platform.
Yeah.
And we believe that within the next, let's say, 3 years, we could be running profitable. And this, for example, our projection for the end of this year is to get actually around 70K revenues, and by the end of next year to kind of quadruple that, ideally, if we get the funding, obviously. So we aim at kind of rapidly growing, and we believe that we could do that for two reasons. One is that, we believe that our solution is better than what is out there, and we just need to. And now that we've built it, we're starting to communicate it as well.
What is your competition though? Because I'm trying to think of indirect competitors more than direct competitors, and I'm not sure if I have mapped it correctly in my head. So what would you say that is your indirect competition? Because the direct competition, I understand that it's companies which provide studies and research surveys on products.
Yeah, so it's like it's a word market, because like some of our competitors are potential collaborators. For example, if you have an agency and you do consumer insights, you could kind of upsell all your customers with our technology and provide them with much better data. And maybe even get customers that you could not in the past, because you offer a differentiated product, because you have expertise in digital bites platform and how VR works for research. So that's one thing. So I'd say mostly our competition is AI-driven let's say, companies that focus on consumer insight. Kind of their methodology, like if I simplify it, is that they use third-party data, so data that they find all over the internet, to interpret them into trends, and let's say that about what is the most trending ingredient and what is the most trending product, and then give that as a platform, as a report, even in some cases, to a food company that then let's say, designs its products based on the insight you've put out there. But the bad thing about this technology and our competitors, and what they don't get, is that when every food company has access to the same insights, then following the insights is kind of bad for them, because they all will be creating similar products, or projects that are very close to each other. And then companies that were not paying for this solution and kind of develop original products will actually benefiting more at scale.
Correct.
So that's why we believe that our technology is superior to them, and because we can literally allow you to test anything you want, and only you get the insight. You don't know what others are doing.
You get a unique insight. Yeah,
exactly. But then we learn, because we could have, for example, competing companies paying for digital bites platform and then running their own experiments, and we would be learning from both of them, and then providing both of these companies like a superior product, a superior platform. But then it will be up to their hands to get an edge over each other because they get unique data back. So at scale, we work much better than these type of solutions.
Great. Yeah, I understand the advantage that you have. So there's no other companies doing the same thing.
So I'd say that maybe there are kind of a couple of research projects from some agencies. I'd say in the Netherlands, it's Unravel Research, one of them, and some other academic projects are popping up. We're trying to kind of collaborate with them, because it's people we know, and they've asked us for our technical advice in that. So we'll be kind of co-creating, let's say, research protocols with them, and even partnering up, providing some software solutions for them. So we're trying to kind of be part of the co-creation process, obviously, for this industry because it's new and rising. And then, I'd say direct competitors that do similar things are not that many, but then it's also the case that maybe they're like stealth companies or anything because it is only possible to do this type of to provide this type of let's say VR as a service, as a research service for in the last like couple of years tops, because before that, for example, the hardware was not that advanced or not that available. So yeah, it's kind of the timing thing as well.
Yes, sure. And I understand that even though it's quite early for me to discuss about this, I want to know, what's your strategy for building a sustainable economic mode? And you talked to me about the financials a little bit, so I would like to know about that. Anything that you want to share with me?
Well, I'd say like what we do, and we're seeing it works, is like kind of developing. I mean, for the food industry, let's say it's still it's innovating, but it's still kind of more traditional business. So you need to meet people in person to close deals. So I'd say creating personal relations with the people in the industry. And actually, what we've seen that works very well is to use market research, let's say studios, like boutique agencies, let's put it that way, that do consumer research, traditional and even as accelerators for our growth is a good thing. So let's say training them and let's say commissioning them for our platform, and then having them bring in their customers and collaborate, for example, for us providing the software and the platform, and then doing the data collection and some part of the analysis. It's kind of a value creation model for both sides, and we've seen it works very well until now.
That's strategic partnerships I was talking about, and it makes perfect sense. You talked to me about the revenue that you're expecting within the next year, and we could also express that in a headcount. So I was thinking, are you currently searching for talent, and how many people are you expecting to need within the next 2 years?
Okay, so at the moment, obviously, we're not hiring because like our team has the full capacity to execute such, let's say, projects, and we're still working on a custom basis, so it doesn't make much sense. But let's say if at the moment we raise some money and we start automating things, we definitely need like a couple of developers working in the platform side itself, like designing a platform in which you can create and deliver the experiments all over the world is one thing. And then also having some more designers join us, and either VR developers or 3D designers, because we need to have a high output of design ability as digital bytes. So I'd say that within our plan, let's say within our fundraising strategy, and let's say the purpose we want to raise funds for is to have about, let's say, 5 to 6 people over the next year and a half if things go well.
Great. Yeah, it will.
Hopefully.
Okay. So you are interested in raising, and I just, like you said, you're planning on utilizing the funds by bringing people in within the next couple of years. Some of them are going to be developers. I understand that you also will need some marketing and sales people on board, right? And you should also, I understand that you will also probably be picky with regards to the profile of the investor that you're interested in. So people are listening to us, and the ecosystem is listening to us. So what would that profile of the investor be, and what's the strategy to get the investment back for them?
Yeah, well, I'd say the most crucial thing is them believing in our vision. It might sound silly, but we think that virtual reality will be the new paradigm for product and consumer research, and we need, let's say, angels or VCs or anything that actually get it and understand why this is the case, and that can actually contribute in guiding us in maybe opening some doors for us if they're familiar with the food industry per se.
That's a
That would be
challenge
a great
indeed.
help.
Yeah.
So I'd say the expertise that we'll be needing from some VC that could be interesting would be the B2B sales side, because also we get to negotiate large deals per company, and maybe like some tech savvy people that get the VR and platform development part from a B2B perspective.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So that's for our audience. We need to let them know that we are here to ask for talent and provide solutions through the things that we are trying to promote. And I'm sure that you're going to find talent not only through our ecosystem, but generally through the community, which is something I love about it. I've been saying it. So you told me some things about the people, and I'd love to know more things about the team before we get going.
About the team. So yeah, like the thing we've learned working as a team is to challenge our own ideas and our own perceptions. Because, for example, we're a young team, a fairly young team, but we know how to test things. Well, we should know, because that's our main business as well, right? So we know how to test things. We know when to, let's say, when to pivot. Let's say we pivoted already, and when to persist, and when we have something of interest. So we're like working fast, and as well. Let's say we're prototyping and then co-creating things with, let's say, several data streams coming in. Like we tested our first prototype in 250 people, and this helped us. Yeah, like, so we tested iterations. So it was like 5 iterations, and then we brought 250 people, which helped us develop our MVP in 2 months.
Right.
Because we found all the bugs, and we got so many cool ideas about what we should be adding from several people that helped us out.
So I know your background. Can you tell me a couple of things about the experience of the other guys?
Yeah, definitely. So, Michael is our data wizard. Let's say he loves numbers, and he's helping a lot with the analysis, designing machine learning, AI, maybe even algorithms that can interpret the hundreds of thousands data points. Let's say data queries that we get through every experiment.
Right.
Through every participant. And Lucas is our CTO. He's let's say the head of the product side. He collaborates with Vasilis, and together they're building the entire, all the features, all the designs, all the interactions to make the VR run really smoothly. And I'd say, like, if you asked me like 5-6 months ago about the quality of how VR, let's say, the graphics and the cleanliness of the experience itself, I'd say I'm impressed, and I'm usually told I'm really hard to impress. So the work that's being done is quite nice. Yeah.
Great. I cannot wait to see that in action, and I would really like to see a demo now, to be honest, because I'm very curious about it. So when we hang up this call, I'm probably gonna ask you for your for the service. I want to see it. I'm very curious to see what the next months will bring, and I cannot thank you enough for giving me all of this insights. It was it was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was great being here, and I had so much fun participating in this.
Thank you very much, and thank you for giving me the proper time to do this. I cannot wait to see you again. So see you soon. Ευχαριστούμε, guys, for listening to us today.